Evening, everybody. Today marks a year since the club said that they were looking at strategic alternatives to bring extra funds basically into the club, and one of those eventualities could be that there's a full sale of the club. All that year's thrown up so far is a rumour that we're going to get £245 million out of the pockets of Sir Jim Ratcliffe, who's going to take 25% stake in the club. One whole year for that. There's been no communication from the club whatsoever other than projected timelines which have been wrong. Let's look at that. So when this time last year it was announced that the club were looking at strategic alternatives, including the option of a full sale, we were told that by the general consensus was that they were looking to get something concluded by March. That's 9 months ago. No, sorry, 8 months ago. A lot of people called it out and said that's probably not going to happen, but nonetheless, that was what the club put out to the media, and the media then put to the fans. Then we were told, well, if it's not then, it'll definitely be the end of the season. The final bid deadline, which was complete nonsense, was the 28th of April. So the end of the season was the next thing that was mentioned. When that's come and gone, from there, people have just been guessing, because there's been nothing, absolutely nothing from the club whatsoever. And when a club doesn't communicate, which United don't, what that leaves you with is a void of information, and people fill that void with bullshit, which is what we've had over the last year, which is incredibly frustrating for a fan who's very much invested and wants to know what's going on, wants to know what's really going on. And it brings me to something about the Glazers. As custodians of our football club, they have a duty of care to communicate with the people that pay to keep the club going, which essentially is the fans. I know to us to them, we are customers. To them, actually, we're mugs, which is more accurate. But we're customers, let's put it that way. Football's changed. Fans are customers. Well, like any other big corporation in the world, and Man United's supposed to be one of the biggest, if the owners treated the customers like we've been treated, those customers would go elsewhere. Or those customers would kick up such a stink that the behaviour of the owners would have to change. And United fans do neither of those things. I understand it's hard to walk away from something you love. I don't see myself as a customer. I'm a fan of the club. But to them, that's what we are. And we've done neither walk away nor kick up a big stink. I'm wondering where the people have gone that said, you wait. If they're still there at the start of the season, you wait and see what happens. And I tell you what, if they think that they're going to lead us down this garden path for a year and make us think they're going to sell, and we come that close, and then they turn around and stay, poof, absolute all-out war is going to happen. Am I missing something? Have I missed something? I haven't seen anything. Anything close to that. So, the fans have done nothing. For me, whatever happens here, even if we get a solution that we really want, a bit of this club has died and ain't coming back. And I don't necessarily just mean the Glazers and what they've done to us. We have been, as a fan base, we have been put into a corner where you find out the mettle of people when you're put in the situation that we've been put in by the Glazers. And that's when you find out about who you belong to and the character of those people, of that group of people. And United fans have fallen massively short. When it's really come to the crunch, they haven't fought hard enough for their club, anywhere near hard enough. The level of apathy is disgusting, if I'm honest with you. And we could get Sheikh Jassim come back in. No new owner is going to erase that memory for me. It's damaged. Back to the leeches. And I'd love to know what this delay is. Because apparently now, rather than it be today that it's going to be announced, it might now be the new year. Okay. Matt Goldbridge was saying yesterday, well, this is a big deal. The legal stuff that goes with this is massive. Yeah, I understand that. But hasn't that been put forward as the reason as to why it's taken a year in the first place? You don't get to use that as an excuse for it to take a year in the first place, and then when it's already taken a year, give that as the reason why then it's going to take another 6 weeks, 4 weeks after it was pretty much announced, albeit by the media, that Sir Jim Ratcliffe was going to take a 25% stake in the club, and a few days later, it was going to be ratified by the club at a board meeting. That's 4 weeks ago. Another 6 weeks on top of that into the new year, and we're not been given a date in the new year, by the way, so I'm being optimistic with 6 weeks. That's 10 weeks. 10 weeks to announce something. Not that then he's got his foot through the door. 10 weeks to announce something. These guys, these Glazers are the worst. I know I'm preaching to the converted, but in terms of decisions, oh my God, they're stupid. Oh, I don't really know. God help them if they ever went out for like the 6 of them for a meal somewhere. It'd take them 3 days to decide what to eat. What is the delay? Because, and again, no one's asking that pertinent question. We won't get any answers. There's just levels of arrogance to these people, which is beyond belief, because they don't feel they have to talk to their customers, because the customers will just keep coming back for more and more of the same shit. The customers will continue to happily be abused by these people, and not expect anything, not expect any common courtesy, not expect that as the custodians of our football club, you need to explain what's going on. But there's no expectation of that, so they're not going to do it. But the implications of these delays are massive, because we have already lost a year, really, in terms of being able to progress as a football club. In the history of a club, a year might not seem like a big deal, but these are pivotal crossroad moments in the club's history. We appointed Erik ten Hag. He's come into a mess. We've come into the Glazers, basically, unadulterated, terrible Glazers. The first summer he was here. Then there was an announcement that perhaps we might be getting a sale. Then there's just been turmoil and uncertainty around the place. So at the end of this season, if he survives, he'll have been here for 2 years of nothingness. And that's United. They're a big blur of nothing. There's no clear pathway. There's no clear expectations. There's no clarity on what's going to happen moving forward. It's just all, well, let's just keep it going and see what happens. That's what it feels like. And you can't run a proper football club like that. And we're seeing that now. And Erik ten Hag, for me, has wasted 2 years of his career. And I say 2 years because I'm not convinced we will hear anything in the new year. I'm not convinced that this won't go until next season. No. And if that happens, and I know it's an if, but the implications are absolutely enormous. Because we've seen the summer just gone, what a complete mess it is. We'll just have more of the same. We need Sir Jim, or whoever's going to come in now, to be ready for the summer. January, nothing will happen anyway. But we need. This is a mess. Whoever comes in is inheriting a mess. There's a lot of work that needs to be done, infrastructure-wise, organisation-wise, and they need to be in to start making decisions and to start putting things in place so that we can have a better summer next summer, because we need to hit the ground running next summer. I've said before, there's always going to be a ceiling on what we can achieve, even if Sir Jim comes in with 245 million and a better structure around the football structure. Best case scenario is third every year, but just to achieve that, we need to hit the ground running. And I can see this dragging on and on and on and on. And if it interrupts another summer transfer window, you just get further and further behind. We're not coming at this from a position of strength. We're already way off. And other clubs are getting better, and there's clubs behind us that are getting better. So this, as I say, it needs to happen now, because this season's done before it's even really started. Mark Goldbridge was saying the other day, we need this sorting out because we've got some massive games. Yeah, I haven't got any massive games. The season's finished. The only massive games we've got is when the FA Cup starts, because we have a very, very, very slim chance of doing all right in that if we get some decent draws and we could maybe find our feet and get on a good cup run. So the third round of the FA Cup in January, whoever that we play in that, is a massive game, yeah, because there's still hope in that. The league's finished. United aren't finishing top 4. They're not. We're not going through in Europe, and I don't really care whether we're in the Europa League or not. So the season was finished before it started. This has got Solskjaer's final season written all over it. So there aren't any big games for Man United this season. The biggest game we've got, if you like, as a metaphor, is to get the Glazers out, or the crappiest booby prize in the world, get someone who's got 25% and maybe he can polish the turd a little bit. That's the prize. That's the game. That's the game we need to win. And even that's not that great. The thing I don't get about this is, we were told the announcement was going to be, and this is deja vu for when we were told it was going to be Qatar, but last week, then if not last week, definitely Monday. Well, it might not be Monday, but it could be Tuesday or Wednesday. It would be before Thanksgiving, which obviously is tomorrow in America. Now we've been told it's not going to be today, so then obviously it's not going to be over the weekend because that's Thanksgiving. I'm not sure how you get from that to, okay, so now it's going to be the new year then. Well, that's 6 weeks away. Why would you go from, it's not going to be Wednesday, it's going to be 6 weeks from Wednesday? Why? Why is it going to take that long? These Glazers are a parody of themselves. Absolute arseholes. And the thing that does then is it opens up a massive void of information again where people will just fill it with nonsense. So you've got these in the know accounts, these Qatari accounts, or they're not probably Qatari, probably from like Stretford or Cotswolds or wherever, are saying, we told you, it's happening, isn't it? It's Qatar. And I'm not saying you have to buy into that, of course you don't, and you can see it for what it is. And I'd be, Jesus, if I'm proved wrong and Qatar come in, I'd be the most happy I've ever been to be proved wrong. But it just gives voice to those people that fills up your thread on Twitter where you're just like, oh, just piss off. Like, it's over, it's finished, it's not going to be Qatar. There's always going to be that bit of me, personally, because that's what I wanted, that thinks, well, until it's announced, you know, maybe it could happen still. Because there's no other alternatives being given as rational explanations. And I'm sorry, the legal things and stuff, I'm not having that. And I'm a sentimental, emotional, experiential person when it comes to football, and you know, I really, really wanted a full sail. So just like there's a tiny bit of me that wants to look up in the sky on the 24th of December and see a sleigh going across it, there's a bit of me that wants to say, this could still happen. And of course, that gap now that people are talking about, maybe it's going to be the new year until something's announced, it gives a space for that, for fans, and uncertainty, again, for fans to think, oh, maybe that's the reason. Maybe there's something afoot here. I think the likelihood is, if I'm honest with you, they're just thinking, we've put out there that, so bear in mind, these fans said that the worst case scenario for them was that Sir Jim took 70% with us just sitting there doing nothing and not having any power. They went absolutely ape shit about that. These same fans are now accepting and swallowing that we stay in charge, we get a guy to sort the football stuff out, we take shitloads of money off him and put none of it in ourselves, and these idiots are saying this is going to be a bright future for the club. Tell you what, give us 6 weeks. We'll cook something else up that's even worse. They'll swallow that as well. So, or we don't want to relinquish our power just yet. So you lot can just sit tight for a little while. But we're going to have to at some point. We're going to have to relinquish some of our power, but no one's holding a gun to our heads. So maybe we'll just have a nice Christmas being in full control of Man United. Happy days. It's just as likely to be that as it is to be Sheikh Jassim's going to come flying around the corner and go, I'm here to save you. Which would be my preference. Okay, good to talk as always. If you want to comment, please do. Like, subscribe, all that jazz. And a year down the line, still Glazers out.